let's start talking about ATC. We'll first go over what the role of an air traffic controller is. Air traffic controllers serve to facilitate the safe and efficient movement of aircraft, both on the ground and in the air. Your first priority should always be the safety of the aircraft and the people on board. Air traffic controllers fulfill this mission by giving clearances, instructions, and other advisories to pilots that guide them safely to their destination. Bit by bit, you will learn and master these clearances and instructions as you grow as a controller, but never forget that your fellow trainees, controllers, and instructors are there to help you learn together if you're ever stuck. To operate as an air traffic controller, you'll have to have fluent English and a functional microphone. All training resources and ATC services are provided exclusively in English, so you must be able to understand and speak English. All ATC services are provided via voice channels, so a functional microphone is also required for controlling. That said, if you simply wish to remain a trainee to access the training resources and learn more about ATC, you're more than welcome to stick around. Now let's go over the progression through the ATC program. The first rank you'll study for is delivery. These are the controllers responsible for reviewing flight plans so that they follow regulations and thereafter giving departure clearances. Next on the ladder is ground. Ground controllers are responsible for everything that happens between the gates and the runway. Once you get to the runway, it's now tower's responsibility. Tower controls mainly takeoffs and landings, or really anything that has to do with movements on the runway. Approach and departure, otherwise called director in some places, is the first of the radar positions. These controllers are responsible for a much larger airspace and orchestrate the flow of arrivals and departures. Center, or en route, is the final of the basic ATC positions. These controllers are responsible for aircraft en route, essentially aircraft that are between airports surrounding airspaces. These 5 basic positions form a sort of hierarchy which can describe multiple things. Aside from reflecting your progression through the ATC program, the hierarchy also shows which controllers pilots should contact. They'll start with clearance delivery for their clearance, go to ground for taxi, switch to tower for takeoff, and so on. Upon arrival, they go down the hierarchy in reverse, calling approach to be guided on to final approach, tower for their landing clearance, and then ground for taxi to the gate. Since we usually don't staff every position, the hierarchy also tells controllers which position is responsible for what when other positions are offline. We call these top-down procedures. When a position is offline, the next position up on the hierarchy is responsible for that position and its responsibilities. For example, if approach was offline, center, being the next position on the hierarchy, assumes responsibility for all approach and departure duties. In other words, center is top-down for approach. If delivery is offline, but ground is also offline, we just continue up the hierarchy and tower would be responsible, or top-down, for ground and delivery. Lastly, since this program is mostly self-study, we have some tips for you to succeed. Most importantly, don't try to rush things. There's a lot to take in and it will not happen immediately. There is no pressure to learn everything in any set amount of time, so please learn at your own pace. Don't try to focus on ranking up as quickly as possible. Next, while these videos may help some people learn, these slides are also available to you in asynchronous resources to view at your own pace. We also recommend you take notes on key topics, as writing it down can also help you remember it, and the notes may also be helpful in the future. While not allowed on exams, plenty of controllers have notes when controlling, and it's a great quick reference when you happen to forget something. Just as important as the first point was, please feel free to ask questions in ATC trainee chat or DM an instructor if you feel more comfortable doing so. It is cliché, but there really are no dumb questions, and we want you to do well when controlling and on your exams. Lastly, ATC FAQ is a simple place to look for any common information and also has some tips about some of the most common mistakes new controllers make. Take a glance there if you haven't already. That's all for this lesson, and we'll see you on the scopes.